All right, welcome inside my rather clean but also disheveled kitchen. As you can see, this is not my desired color for cabinets. But if you haven't been following along, go check out the house, the moving vlog series, and then the updates on my current house. For those of you who are here just to see a Zip HydroTap, I know there's not a lot of content out there. And I just got this yesterday. My plumber was here setting up my Scotsman ice maker. I was hoping I could knock both of them out at the same time, but this didn't show up until I think it was like maybe 12 or 1 o'clock, and he was already finished up with my Scotsman setup. So we'll talk about where this is going to go, but first I wanted to unbox this. And while I'm doing that, we'll talk you through the method of my madness here of this place. So I think let's start with the font. No, let's start with the arc. So this came about in that I was looking for a more sophisticated water system to deliver cold water, or at least filtered water, somewhere in my house. I was thinking about buying one of those little Culligan things, putting it over by the trash can there, and like the little water dispensers we have at my garage, and that you pay to have them come and change the filters. I thought about doing something like that. I also thought about there's like Brio has some systems, but I assumed that there was something better. And I'm hoping that's what this is. So this is an Australian-made, U.S. imported system that I think it's newer here in the U.S. A couple of you, thanks to the 2 or 3 of you on YouTube that commented on my video and gave me a heads up on this setup, on this system. But I will tell you, this was, hold on, let me go get some wire cutters. I will tell you, this was the most complicated, most annoying process to try to buy this $6,000 water system. I've never had to work so hard to spend $6,000 of my money for a long time. So I think what Obsessed Garage needs to become, I'm just gonna make a personal all-out assault on traditional methods of retail, because it was freaking obnoxious trying to buy this. I had to keep begging them to let me purchase this thing. Okay, so this spout, so the way the concept here is that I'm going to put this next to my ice maker, and I'll show you how that's going to be set up here in a minute. But the concept here is this is not like your traditional, like this is a Newport brass, really fancy, really expensive faucet. I'm a big proponent of spend the money on the things that you use all day, every day. I drink a lot of water. We don't drink, I don't think it makes sense to drink bottled water. We use our cell phone a lot. We used our faucet a lot. I think that it's worth investing or spending money on things that you're using commonly. So this thing here is really expensive, this whole setup. But the concept here is this will be fixed right above my ice maker, and this will do boiling, chilled, and sparkling water all in one spot. So it's gonna be pretty sick. So those of you, the few of you that turned me on to this system, I started searching. And of course, there's nobody online that sells it, because it's a bunch of idiot old men still stuck in their old ways of how the system should work. And so the barrier to entry is so gosh darn complicated, and they're so worried about going to a showroom and all this crap. I'm like, how about this? How about you just make zip.com and hydrotap.com, and I can go to it, I can read some instructions and buy it. I mean, how complicated should this be? Now, I guarantee you I don't have everything I need here, so we're gonna find out if I have the filter, which I bet you isn't in the box, and I bet you also that the carbon dioxide thing isn't in the box either. So anyway, we've got our tubing, which is going to be a bit problematic for me. We're going to have to get some different silicone tubing, because I'm planning on putting the main HydroTap base up in the attic. And I'll explain that once we get there. So let's just set these aside. Let's gather up all our components. The other thing I'm going to have to do is order a long USB cable, because that isn't going to be long enough. The fit and finish of this is nowhere near as nice as the Newport, but it probably should be, because that section, so that part, the arc was $995, $1,000. So it's pretty costly. So this is the font, which is a little drain. So the concept here would be that the arc, or the faucet, is fixed. And then you don't need a full-size drain. You just set this up where, just set this aside. We just set this up where it's fixed and doesn't move, and then the font captures any pee-pee dribble you might have. So let's keep all our instructions. Oh, cool. Here's our template for cutting our hole. And the font, by the way, this part was $495 for this little guy. So obviously there's going to be an import cost to get this. I'm suspecting it's not nearly as expensive in Australia, but all the Australians get stuck spending a bunch of extra money bringing stuff over from the US, so I'm sure you don't feel too bad. And so this is going to be housed inside of the countertop. I don't know what that is all about. We'll keep that just to be safe. Here's our hardware kit. 1, 2, 3. It looks like those are just little cutouts. Where are these here? Looks like this was already frickin' used. I wouldn't doubt it. With the gosh darn disaster that I went through for this. Okay, let's set that aside. I had to buy it from, so first I submitted to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer connected me with the wholesaler, the distributor, and the distributor connected me, and the distributor didn't call, but doesn't follow up. And then finally, after my third ask to say, hey, I want to freaking buy this thing right now, then they're like, well, we don't have it on display. I'm like, I don't need to go look at it. I just want to buy it. And okay, so that's how that works. Pretty simple setup there. And then this little tube looks like we'll run down. We'll have to make some pipe adapting. Anyway, that's for my plumber to figure out. So that's our hardware kit. So then the distributor connects me with a retailer. Of course, they don't have a website, or they do, but it's useless. And they connect me with some guy, and then the guy doesn't call me back. And then I'm not sure if I ordered it or not. I said I'm ready to order, and they just, it's a freaking nightmare. I was just trying to spend all this money on this thing, when if somebody just made a website that I could just click the button and it shows up at my door, like obsessgarage.com. It's so frustrating. So like I said, I'm going to make an all-out assault on traditional retail. All right, so this is one of the boxes for the base unit. So hopefully this has my CO2 cartridge and my filter. I'm hoping that it comes with this. Okay, it looks like it did. CO2 regulator. Aha, yes. And our CO2 cartridge. Good. Good. So when you do buy the kit, so this was, for those of you who are wondering, this was 3 SKUs. So it's 1034219 is the item number. That's the Zip Arc in matte black. And then have the serial number. And then we need the 1038399. That's that big thing right there. 1038399. And then this package was 1038899 must have been part of, let's see. Base module 1038899. Okay, so you need to make sure that you get 2 boxes if you get the BCS version, the boil, chilled, and sparkling. So that's the kit came separately, but it was in a separate box. And so here's our CO2 regulator. Yeah, so that's this piece, tap right regulator. And then we'll probably only need one of those, but then these I'll buy, and that's another problem, is I'm not sure how I'm gonna get a hold of replacement cartridges because there's no place to go buy it. I just need to just create this stuff. That's why I'm unboxing this on camera. When I build Destination OG, I'm gonna sell all this stuff and make it easy for people. Show you how it comes, what it looks like, take photos of it, and do a little bit of work. Okay, so we got 2 cartridges. I like this. We're off to a good start. You can stop complaining. I think you only need 1, so they give you a backup refill, hopefully. So that's for your sparkling water portion. Now we got the big unit. Let's see. So this is where the control unit. So we got to put this somewhere. And unfortunately, it's not going where I was hoping it would go. And so even better, I'm gonna put it upstairs in the attic, which my attic is conditioned and insulated, and that'll make it a little bit more serviceable for me. And I just go up my motorized attic stairs and I can go up there and access this when I need to, which we, once in a while. There's something still in there. So let's hope there's a water filter in here because I haven't gotten a filter yet. So anyway, sorry to complain so much. I'm just telling you what happened, the process you have to go through to get this. Hopefully for you, you live in a major city where you don't have to fight so hard to get somebody to let you spend this much money. So this is the main part, the main unit. So this is $4,003. So this was $54.93 was what I paid plus tax. So $58.77.51. Now again, I know that's a lot of money. I know I probably won't be in this house for the rest of my life. But I also know that drinking water is one of those things that if you have the means, you might want to invest a bit in it. So here's the main unit. Get this off of there. Wow, that's freaking stout. Whatever's in here is no joke. And then we got all of our other stuff. Sorry, no cameraman here with me today, just me. Sweet, there's a filter in there, awesome. So, what my original intention was, it was to put this, let's just get all this stuff out. Original intention was to put this in the cabinet right next to the ice maker. But we don't have enough width because I did the big version, which has the sparkling water variant. And so it requires more ventilation. Okay, this is the insulation for the heated tube, which we're gonna have to do in the aftermarket anyway, because I'm gonna need a longer tube. And then we're also gonna need a longer supply line. I already have power up there. I'm gonna build a little shelf for this. And I already have a drain set up for our font. So you bring supply water into the main. And then we have our boiling out up top. We have apparently a bypass here that we won't mess with. We have a vent. Boiling out. Chilled out is here. That is just the vent. Sparkling out, CO2 in. And then we have our USB control, and the USB control is what the arc does right here. Gosh, I really need a cameraman here to show you this stuff. So this is the arc, and so we have, so I guess you can select. So So this is how we choose, and we'll have to make another video when we install this thing. And so in the front here, you have a digital display use. So filter cartridges here. So I believe this is just a carbon filter. So I did a Kinetico water system. This is a 0.2 micron filter. And this is for a boiling chilled application. And then I'm assuming after filter, cartridge must be replaced every 12 months or sooner. And this will tell us when. This is just the initial unboxing to figure out what other parts I need to get before we do this. So the key is I've got to get a longer USB connection. All right, so here's the plan. So right here, so originally this is where my fridge was. So this was a normal 36-inch enclosure. The fridge was here. There was a cabinet above it. We pulled that out, put in a bunch of drawers. I've already ordered some samples of some hardware. I probably should have picked that beforehand. My cabinet guys aren't particularly great. I've had to manage the project myself. But this was a 36-inch traditional, GE fridge just sitting over there. So I moved the fridge over and I'm doing dual 36-inch Sub-Zero fridge and freezer. I hate having a water dispenser, especially with kids, in the front of the fridge. It gets water all over the place. It's always nasty and all gunked up. And so what I did in my last house is I got an ice maker. So this is a Scotsman Nugget ice maker. I forget which model number this is, but this makes the Sonic Ice. This stuff, we call it Sonic Ice. This is what Sonic has here in drive-thrus, which I don't think I've ever eaten at, but it has the Nugget Ice. And so what we did in our last house is I had a really great system. I had a really great water filtration system on my well, and we would just fill up your cup with ice, take it over to the faucet, drink out of the tap. Well, here I plan on taking it a step further, so doing the Kinetico system, which will take care of the house. I did a Nuvo filter. That frickin' crap doesn't work, so don't ever do that. Our water is still hard as a rock, and it still had lots of chlorine in it. We just did another test. So I'm doing it's a two-stage, resin base. There's a carbon portion of it that removes all the chlorine and funk in the water, and then there's salt that softens. Or salt. There's a softener, and the salt is what refreshes the resin that softens the water. So instead of a filter system, we're going to have a softening system, as well as a sediment filter. And so the whole house will be softened, and then this will take it to the next level with a carbon, 2.2 micron filter. And so the water that comes to this will already be somewhat good, and so it should make the filters last a lot longer than they normally would if you didn't have that. So concept here: walk over, fill up your cup with ice. The arc is going to be right here, fixed in position. We'll play with what's the best position for that. The font will be right underneath it. So this drain will be cut into the new countertop that we get. So the drain will be fixed as well. And so the arc will be sitting right over the font, like this. It'll look nice and pretty. This will be our sort of water station. All our cups are above here. And then what I'm going to do, the original plan was to put the big control unit in the bottom here, but two things we needed. One, I needed a more sophisticated drain, so we had to put a drain underneath here for this, because this has a pump on it to pump to the drain. And that drain will serve as our drain for this as well. And then that's tied into the drain that's behind us, this wall in the bathroom. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to put this Zip control unit up in the attic above here. I'm going to build a little 2x12 shelf that's going to sit on for serviceability. And it's probably 78 degrees up there with lots of ventilation, lots of room for this to breathe. Because if you are going to put this in your cabinet, you need to have extra space so it can vent out. And then we'll just run our hot-cold line, as well as I'm going to get a USB extension. Hopefully it has enough power to to run like a 20-foot or 15-foot USB cable should be okay. And then that will, we'll solve our problem of putting this thing somewhere. And then I won't have to have any dispensing ice and water dispensing from my Sub-Zero setup. And the Sub-Zero is going to go over here. So you can see, I just put the little crappy GE fridge here for now. And so right in this location is going to be 36-inch fridge, no dispensing, 36-inch freezer. Then they have a kit where the ventilation on top that Sub-Zeros have, the vent kit will come flush up to this opening that we built. And I have my outlets in the right position. But I do have a traditional ice maker in the freezer, the 36-inch freezer, because sometimes you want non-nugget ice, you want regular ice for whatever, in a cooler or something like that. It won't be a dispenser, but the Sub-Zeros have a little tray inside of them for ice. So that's how this is going to look. And so the kitchen will be set up where water station, cups, obviously microwave, all of our microwave, things that you would, like Ziploc bags and stuff like that are going to that drawer, and containers. Our pantry's been redone. I have the Wolf Double Oven, the M series. I would have rather had like a 48-inch or 60-inch range, but since the Double Oven was already here, we left that and just replaced the Whirlpool. Did the Wolf Double Oven here. We have a transitional style hood. They just made a big cabinet, which is not what I wanted. I wanted to have a mantle, and so they were going to build a little mantle above here. I have a Wolf 42-inch, forget what it is, 1100 CFM blower or something like that, that's going in there. And then, of course, we replaced the two cabinets. The microwave was above here. And so that's going to be the kitchen setup. And the Zip system, I thought, if I already spent this much money, let's go for it. Let's test it. Let's see how it goes. What I wasn't expecting was for it to have such a difficult buying experience. And so the magic is, I'll probably end up selling these things someday. Maybe not at obsessedgarage.com, but whatever other disruptive site I decide to make for consultative retail, we'll call it, for curating products. All right, so that's how it shows up to you. Again, I don't know much about it yet. We're going to find out how it works. There's only a few videos online on how this thing functions, but really should be pretty darn seamless, and should be able to replace the filters when necessary. I'll order some other carbon dioxide replacement cartridges, so I have those. I'll also order another filter, which I probably won't have to replace but once a year would be my guess with the Kinetico system that I'm putting in here. And then the key is I'll be able to drink out of the tap if I want to, but 99% of the time I'll have fresh, clean, delicious water coming right out of the HydroTap arc that's sitting right on the counter. So I don't know that I've ever seen anybody have a system like this, but that's kind of what interests me. So anyway, thanks for watching. Quick unboxing, and I'll keep you updated on the house and the kitchen as we get this thing done. And someday, after compiling all this data over the last several years, I might actually build a house from scratch. The concept here was to buy a little baby house and make it really dense with cool stuff, and then figure out what I like and dislike, so that way when I do build some mega spot, that I'll have that information to make better decisions as we go forward. So thanks for watching. See you soon.